Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Opportunity Knocks podcast. I'm joined here today by a heavyweight in the door-to-door sales space, Mr. Jayson Greene. He is the VP of Training and Development at Vantage Marketing US. He oversees teams that are four-time back-to-back Vantage Cup winners. They were undefeated in Premier League this past year. He's a corporate trainer as his day job, but he's an owner of 3 branches in the US there. This past year, he mentored 2 Golden Door winners, and he has 15 years of experience in the pest control door-to-door space. Welcome to the pod, Jayson.
Good to see you, man. I've seen so many episodes. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're a regular listener?
Of course, man. You have all the fire. So excited to be on this.
Awesome. Well, we're looking for your hot takes on all things. Let's make it controversial. Okay. No, I'm kidding. But as we normally do here, we'll roll back the clock a bit. And so tell us how you got into the space. Were you recruited at like a job fair or something? Yeah. You know, how'd you find out about door-to-door?
So it's actually super funny because when you hit the last mark there of I've been in it for 15 years, like that definitely circled my brain. So the way I got recruited into Vantage was my roommate, he was going to do it. He had a buddy, served a mission, and he was recruiting him, but essentially invited me to a pizza meeting. And so I went to the pizza meeting. Tom Karen, the owner of Vantage, he was presenting. And I remember him saying, I've been doing this for 15 years, which is just like, whoa, like, did I ever think I was going to be in this position? So got signed on that day. He gave a killer presentation, showed me some numbers. Honestly, I remember just not even paying attention, but then like seeing the pay scale, and I was like, even if this is half true, I guess I'll give it a shot. I got nothing better to do. And then did my first summer. It was the first summer with Vantage, where we did the Terminex stuff. And my first summer was on Long Island, New York, which was really, really cool. Did a couple years in the East Coast, then found my beautiful state of Florida, and was there for a year. And then my wife, it was my first year being married, and she didn't like Florida because there was too many bugs. And so I had to go back to Virginia, and then I did the East Coast again. She loved it. It was all right for me. I didn't really love selling there, but it was good for the marriage. But then I got an opportunity to open up my first equity branch, and Miami was on the list of places that I could go to. And it was just a no-brainer at that time. And since then I've been in Florida, Atlanta. I've been in, North Carolina, South Carolina, and all those places in between. So been really, really fun.
Awesome. And what changes when you go coast to coast like that? Like, does your pitch have to change? I mean, I'm sure the service changes maybe a little bit, but what goes into that?
So you're talking about like East Coast, hard Boston type of people to Florida. Yeah, it's a lot more chill. I find. So like for me, call me a mental midget or whatever, but I need proof for the sell, and it's honestly just a brain thing, but that's why I like Florida. So I loved pitching the carpenter ants. I loved pitching the spiders in Boston, New Jersey, New York. But there's just difference when you're able to pitch American roaches in the garage and stuff like that. It's just a little bit, more proof, I guess. But yeah, that's the pitch is a little bit more relaxed. Instead of the bulls, you're getting more tickers. So you're a little bit more friendly, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And so tell us about what your role as you know, training these people and mentoring these people. What does that look like? Because we have our sales managers, you know, they go out, they do a correlation or they'll do one-on-ones and that. But how is your approach different and what's special about that?
Yeah, so I was the same way. So like when I was getting into my management era of it all, I had the training manual, and I remember just reading the training manual and being super fixated on, it was always a passion of mine to deliver something that was worth my guys to show up for. And so I wanted to be super prepared. That was kind of my take on it. It's actually kind of funny because like when I grew up, I wasn't like the smartest kid or anything like that, which I had to work hard at everything school related. I remember having just multiple conversations with my mom. She would just be like, you got to do the homework. You got to do the homework. You can do this. And it was just always a struggle to me. The only reason I bring that up is because I feel like that trickled into my ability to train on a easy level. I feel like a lot of times with trainers, they try and make it too complex. And I think I was able to hit a niche where I was able to dummy it down in a way where it made sense to me, which I feel like it made sense to other people at that point, because sales can be super complicated. But when you break it down to a simplistic form, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Obviously, you can go down those rabbit holes and you can make it very, very complicated, which I enjoy doing. But at the base of it just needs to be basic in a platform that the reps can chew on and actually memorize and use. And so that's kind of the way I was able to get started in it. Is I was crafting my own correlations. I was doing the work, reading the training manual, taking a section of the training manual, putting it into a slide deck, and was always coming to correlation prepared, or always coming to the preseason trainings prepared. And that really groomed, and it just made me a better trainer at that point. So then they rolled out the VTP program, which was the first little full-on deck of the training program. And I was just obsessed with that. I watched every single one of those videos over and over and over. I could sing the songs. I could do the dance, like whatever it was. Like I knew that thing memorized, because I would use that as my training when I was going into the preseason and during the summer. And so as that got older, and I was able to climb through some of the ranks, and my reps were proving that they were very successful on a rookie standpoint and as on an experienced rep standpoint, obviously kind of trickled into, well, it has to be somewhat of the training. So that's when I was voted into becoming one of the VPs of Vantage US as the training side of it all. And so I love it. I think there's nothing cooler. It really is cool to develop the courses, to work with the top guys. Like I'm talking, we have meetings with Tyler Wyman and Alec Anderson, and like, what are you saying? How are you saying it? Let me watch some pitches and stuff like that. It's just really cool to see like how the sales evolved, and more or less like, yeah, just taking that roadmap and making it simple for other people to digest, which has been really, really fun.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm realizing now that I botched your title at the start there. I said VP of training, but you're VP of Vantage Marketing in the US, and you focus on training. Is
Whatever,
that right?
I don't care.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so maybe we can look at this from two sides of the coin. So you mentioned that we can overcomplicate sales training a lot, and we really just have to keep it simple and explain it in a way that's easy to digest. And so on the first side of that coin, when I'm a sales rep, how do I know when I'm ready for the more advanced stuff, and how do I know when to move on to that without overcomplicating it and then, ruining my pitch? And then the other side of that coin is, when I'm a sales manager, how do I know that my people are ready for me to start doing those more advanced correlations?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think there's a lot to it. So to take it from the sales rep's perspective, by far the most important thing that you can do is just have something memorized so you can build off of it. It's the hardest thing anyone's going to ask anyone to do. I remember being a rookie and not wanting to do that. And so I started my first summer and was very unprepared and didn't have the start that I really wanted to. And it's something that I ask all my reps to do. And it is funny how like much resilience is, or just nobody wants to do it. And so I'm pulling teeth to make it happen. But once that's done, then we can start to build. Memorizing the pitch, memorizing a couple cycles. At that point, then you can start to trickle into other topics and stuff like that. I think you should always be learning though, and practicing it. And when it feels right, it will just kind of come out. So as I've gotten into better and better and better at sales and training at different levels and stuff like that, I'm always watching YouTube videos. I'm watching Instagram, like my feed, like the real side of it. It's all these guys from different industries on how they're pitching and stuff like that. And so I'm always just consuming everything that I possibly can. And I'm learning as I go through it. And so I think every rookie and every experienced rep should always just be obsessed with learning it. But I think it will come out when it's ready to come out. You'll just start to see
Yeah.
these little
Yeah.
lines come out, these little phrases come out. And that's from stuff that you picked up on the doors. And from a manager side point, I feel like maybe midsummer you can start implementing some of the deeper topics, but it's not about the deep topics. It's about making the deep topics simple. So not overcomplicating it. So when we're talking about different close strategies and different techniques on that side of things, and like you're trying to be smart in front of the reps and make it complicated, I think you're just going to lose them. And so I think the gift is just kind of keeping it basic while teaching advanced topics, and then the reps will do with it what they can.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned one cool hack there, which is like a lot of us have this toxic trait of just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But if you can replace that feed with like sales clips and like tips and tricks and stuff 100%. Like that, then you mix some positivity in there, right? Yes.
And I'm actually very aware of this now because of how much we're being targeted. If I looked at my wife's phone and went through her scrolls or her scroll, it would be a completely different than mine. And I think it actually tells you what you're being consumed by, which I like. I like to know what I'm focusing on, what I'm searching, what's being targeted to me. And yeah, it is nice when majority of that is just guys from the industry giving pitches and giving advice.
Yeah, it's a mirror of sorts, I guess. Okay, so I did want to get your take on so a script. It sounds like you're saying when you want to memorize kind of what your presentation looks like. So what goes into, well, first of all, do you think you should use a script? If you can clarify that, yeah. And then what goes into building one if that's your program? And how far into the weeds will you guys go? Like, will you do the intro and maybe cover a couple of objections and whatnot? Or do you have this like tree that you're drawing out? I'm expecting these 3 questions and then I'll have these responses.
Yeah. Great question. So yes, absolutely. Your script should be dialed in. I don't care. So Alec Anderson, one of my best friends, my business partner, did $700,000 in revenue last summer. We knock the same streets whenever I'm out there knocking. We're doing the same things. He's incredible, but it's crazy to watch him. Literally every single door that he knocks on, it is the exact same pitch every single time. He knows the reaction that the customer is going to give him when he does these stupid little, the little red ones that bite, those little jokes that he does. And he knows the exact thing that the customer is going to do at that point. And that's how dialed in you have to be. And as I talked to Caleb and Tyler, and yeah, there's a little variation in it, but really that's actually more of a flaw than a perk, because the more dialed in you can be, down to not only just having it memorized, but having it memorized to a point where I know the reaction that I'm going to get when I do what I do, it's a huge thing that you have. And it just gives you the advantage when you're on the doors, because the customer doesn't know that, right? And so
yeah, for sure.
Yes, 100%. You need to have it dialed in. There needs to be a script. The way I train it, I believe that it should be a motion. So from the start to the finish, so from the first, hey, how's it going, to the first close, hard close, it needs to be memorized. And then as we have that memorized, then I'll critique it and I'll adjust it, and I'll make sure that the metaverbals and the body language are correct and they're moving the customer the right way after the pitch is already memorized. And then I give them another objection, and then we go through another series of bugs and another series of services and then another close. And so I train on layers of it all when I'm doing my personal training with my reps and stuff like that. But it's from start to finish. This is memorized. Once it's memorized, then we can work on the actual nonverbal side of it all. And then as it's better and better, then we add more cycles to it. So we just keep adding cycles to it. And how you create it, I don't think the wheel is broken. I think we have some really, really good stuff. I know you have a bunch of ballers there in Canada, like just some absolute beasts. Yeah, see what they're doing. Get them all in a room and write out what the top dudes are doing, and then kind of break it into making it simpler for the rookies to kind of digest. And there you have it. That's your script that you're gonna. It's proven. It's been tried so many times. So it's like, why would I try and recreate something that I don't know works? Like, these guys just did this whole summer, so we're just gonna use that, right?
That's a great idea. We got to get all those guys in the office here, do a little brainstorm session.
Fire.
The absolute gold that
Oh
comes out
yeah.
of that. So, okay. So I actually just interviewed Alec a couple
All
hours
right.
ago. So this is great timing. And what you guys are saying matches perfectly, right? And so one of the things we talked about is that when you've memorized the script, you offload all this space in your brain that's spent on like, what do I say next? And you can start to focus on maybe what the customer's doing and what your reaction might be. And so once we've offloaded, okay, I'm going to say this, or they're talking and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. Once that's all out of my head because I've memorized it, what is the next thing I should be focusing on? Is it my body language? Is it their body language, the cadence, my tonality? Like, where do you go
Yeah.
next?
It's awesome that you mentioned it. It's actually, this is a new concept that I'm starting to learn about. I've never heard it more than I have this year. And it's actually starting to become a trend. I was just talking to Caleb and he said the exact same thing. I heard it first from Keenan Stevens. He was in Jacksonville with us. He was a sophomore rep, top sophomore. He did 650,000 in revenue. He mentioned like he would get tired, and Caleb said the exact same thing. He would get tired when he was not following the script and had to think so much. Caleb even refers to he had to sleep in the car 2 years ago when he was trying to figure this thing out, and he was getting so exhausted on the doors because he was adapting to the customer instead of controlling the customer. And so it's actually a new thing that I feel like is actually absolute gold. That a lot of our
That's really cool, man. Yeah. I've never heard of that.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of our guys are bringing it up as like an actual tool that has been the reason that they've seen so much success. It has to just be dialed down. There shouldn't be that much brain work that goes into your pitch. You shouldn't be having to think too much. Customer says I'm not interested. There shouldn't be this massive amount of clockwork what's going on in your head. You should have it all dialed down where it's just like rinse and repeat. This is what you're doing. This is where you're going. This is how you get the customer interacted. And so once that's dialed in and you have it down to a T, refine it, keep refining it, keep role playing it. And then, yeah, I would say the body language, I would say, and this might have to come when you're actually on the doors knocking, but I would say making it so that your body language, so what you're doing with your hands, what you're doing with your body, what you're doing with your head nods, what you're doing with your tone of voice, what's the reaction that I'm getting from the customer? And is it the reaction that I want? I think is where the next level of like getting into those really, really high volume sales comes from is, cool, I did this and that really derailed me. Cool, let's readjust and try something different. And then, oh man, that worked like a charm. I got them to head nod perfectly. I started getting them to open up, and you try that over a series of time. And if you get consistent results, then it's permanent at that point. And so I think the words don't have to change much at all. Maybe tweak a little bit to match your personality if necessary, but really it's kind of what you're doing with your body language, your head nods, and just your tonality. Is it getting the reaction that you want from the customers? If so, try it continuously. And if it's proven and it gets the similar results every single time, then it's permanent at that point. And I would say that's the next level of it all.
And so how do I stay out of the rut of like, I've said the same thing a bunch of times and now I'm not convincing, like they can tell I'm reading off a script. How do I stay out of that?
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm a con artist right now, dude. My best summer was 516 or something like that back when we were just giving pest control away. So I was top 20 and whatnot, but like, yes, I was the woozer. I was the one that was making deals and making the customer love me and the personality and stuff like that. And so this is all stuff that I've learned while working really, really closely with Alec, and then also working really closely with all the other top guys is, yeah, that's actually the beauty of it all. Like there is monotony in the success side of it. Like when it's not fun, but it is fun because the results are there. But like really, you're not trying to wow this customer. It's just, this works. This is what I'm doing. And yeah, like if you could be disciplined in doing that every time, you would see massive results, and you'd probably be on the higher spectrum of the top 20s and stuff like that. And that's where the discipline comes in, because for me, it is challenging. That's something that I've had to like force myself to do over the last couple of years when I'm out training with reps and stuff like that, is like not get off script, not recreate it, not adapt to the customer in a verbal way, but adapt in more tonalities and body language and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where it actually is, what these guys have done is actually really, really cool, because like it's just the rinse and repeat. Like it's not sexy at all. Like you just copy paste, and yeah, at the end of the day, you have 10 and you've crushed it, but you just copied and pasted the whole way through.
Well, hey, what's more fun than closing deals, right? Getting pen on paper. Yeah.
It's like if you were Steph Curry and you just knew the shot was going up and it was going in, like why would you change the shot? It's still fun. You're still winning games.
Yeah. This is true. Okay, so now I want to put this in the perspective of maybe a manager who's saying, okay, I have a rep. Maybe they're stuck in some slump or something, and they're going to pull you aside and they're going to say, hey, can I get some extra little one-on-one? What does the Jayson Greene session look like? We walk into maybe a separate office. It's just a one-on-one. Do you just like get them to give their pitch, or do you start by saying what's working for other people? Like how do we start to dissect that process and give that person effective training that they can, really take into the field with them?
Yeah. So I mean, I understood the question, but my mind automatically didn't go to sales advice. I would ask, how's it going? How's life at home in the apartments? Are you getting along with all the guys? You having fun out here? You enjoying it? Talk to me. Like, where are you at with everything mentally, physically, habits, behaviors? Like, open up. I'm your friend. Like, let's just chat. And hopefully you get some feedback that's not sales related, because I don't ever find that those ruts and those lulls and those things are ever really technical. They're always mental at that point. But let's say he's a rabbit. He's just energized and he's feeling it. It's the couple of weeks of the summer. I would definitely just say you're getting too far away from the script at that point. And so finding ways to make it theirs, but without altering it. And yeah, it's just the proof is in the pudding. And why would you, if you're changing it up every single door, then you're just making it more likely that it's going to fail. So statistically, if you just do the same thing over and over again, you have a higher confidence level to make sure that you're actually able to, there's no outliers. There's no, there's no outliers. You can pretty much boil it down to like what is and what isn't working at that point. So that would be.
It's funny. It sounds so obvious when you say it, like you pull them aside and it's like, hey, how's your life going? If you're in like a rut, right? It's because a lot of time we focus so hard on, it's like, man, I must be saying the wrong thing, or like the seasons have changed and my pitch needs to change. And we focus so hard on that, but just to zoom out and I guess, outside the box. But again, it seems obvious to just be like, hey, like what's going on behind the scenes that's actually caused things to change? Because if what you're saying hasn't changed, the service hasn't, the customers, then, maybe there's another variable involved. So you find that's usually what they say. They're like, yeah, there's something going on here.
It's hard to open up about those things, right? Like you have to have a pretty dialed in relationship, or you have to be starting to build that relationship. You have to be someone that they can trust, right? So like, yeah, like when you have that behavior, or when you're able to prove that to them, that they can actually trust you, that they can lean on you, that you care about them, then yeah, it's way easier to do this. And it's all spectrums, right? Like there's people in my region in the company that I can't do that with, unfortunately. Like I just don't have that relationship with them. But I hope I've mentored the person that is there in their corner well enough that they do it that way. But there are people that I very much have that relationship with, and it's all been built. They've seen trust, and they know they can lean on me. And so, yeah, that is what it is. And it's not easy to pull that out of them, but I do feel like that is majority of the time what it kind of falls back on. And yeah, lean in on that and let them open up. And it's energy. That's all it boils down to. If the pitch isn't changing, just like you said, the service isn't changing, then it's the energy you bring into the doors. And so like, what is causing the energy to be lacking right now? And let's just open that up and dissect it and correct it. So.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any advice for building that relationship? Because some people might say you're walking this line of like, I'm still their boss. I want to have that, relationship where I can say, hey man, you're late, and you can enforce things, but also that I'm friendly. We can open up and we can talk about these things. And so do you have any advice about maybe going too far one way or another, or how to build that in a repeatable and I guess like healthy way?
No. Yeah, I'm as bad as the other people. What I've learned over the years is have the lines. So my advice is it's always better to be a friend than a boss. Your friends shouldn't take advantage of you. So you should be able to form that friendship and stay consistently who you are. And I mean, who I am is I want the best out of myself, and I want the best out of the people around me. And I gravitate to, and I get around the people that are going to get that out of me. And I surround myself with the people that I feel like I can trust and lean on when I need to perform and do good things. And so be that for them, and hopefully they can, it's easier to do that when you're a friend. And I've found that the people that take advantage of that and blur those lines, like it is easy to kind of like call them out on that because you do have that friendship, but it's hard at the same time if you're timid about it. I think act early, act quickly when you see things that are starting to get out of line. Call them out on it, expect more out of them, and challenge them to be better. And I think that's always easier when you're a friend instead of a boss. And so I think that's backwards from what I hear most of the time, but it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's like be real.
Yeah,
right?
Try to be. Yeah. And so.
Okay, I love that. Now, I wish we could go on for longer, but we do cut these around the 30-minute mark, and so I want to give you a chance to, I guess, give a message, speak directly to the incoming reps this year, whether it's rookies, experienced reps, managers, or someone who's going for a golden door this year. Right? Is there any message you have to them? Any wisdom you'd like to impart?
Yeah, super excited for this year. Like, the platform at Vantage has never been so united. It's never been so competitive. It's never been so perfected either. And so what the reps coming into this year have is better than any Vantage years over the last 15 years, 20 years that we've been around. And so super excited to see what happens here. Do your part, I would say. Make this company the greatest it could ever be, and we fall to the reps averages, obviously, and so the reps matter, right? Every single rep from the bottom to the top, like on a per rep average, that's how we're viewed as like whether or not Vantage is good or Vantage is bad. And I feel like over the last few years, our per rep averages have been better than majority of the industry. And that's why we are starting to grow and be who we are at this point. And so take that as a personal challenge and show up every day. And when you don't want to show up, then correct it. Don't sit in the corner and hope that someone reaches out to you and asks if you're okay. No, take it upon yourself and get after it. And if you need help, ask for it. And so you have the rookies and the sophomores and the guys that are out there grinding, like they've never had so much support and so many people that genuinely care. Like I know every single leader that's in this company and they genuinely care. And so like take advantage of that. The guys that are going for the golden doors, don't be fakers. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. My advice to them is you don't start the summer as a golden door rep. Me and Alec, we talked about this all the time last summer. There's a development that happens that makes it so that you become a 1% of the industry. Don't give up before you become that. And so it's hard, it's challenging, you'll get off track, you'll fall behind, but you didn't start the summer as a golden door rep. You finish the summer as a golden door rep and fall in love with that process that it takes to get there and challenge yourself to not be a faker and just get after it and go win.
Dude, I love that. That's killer. All right, we'll end it on that note, man. Thank you so much, Jayson. I know you're incredibly busy, and it's incredible to have your wisdom and advice on the call with us here. We will certainly be having you back on here, hopefully this summer, if not after that.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. But I appreciate it. Honestly, I always have time for you guys. Yeah, no problem.
Sure thing. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time on another episode of the Opportunity Knocks podcast.